Hola and welcome to ProSpanish. We'll begin with some vocabulary so that the lesson is accessible to all learners. And we'll have terminado. Terminado is quite easy because it's like terminated and it means finished. So terminado, finished. Roto. Roto is broken. Broken. Roto. Broken. Perdido is lost. Perdido, lost. Hablar is to speak, like blah, 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 speaking a lot. Hablar, to speak. Comprender, like comprehend, to understand. Comprender, to understand. And está is it's. So está, it's. Okay, let's play around with those words to get a bit familiar and confident with them. How would we say it's broken? It's broken. What would that be? Está roto. Está roto. It's broken. Está roto. How about it's finished? It's finished. What would that be? Está terminado. Está terminado. It's finished. If you want to say it's not something, we just put no at the beginning. No. So how would you say it's not finished? No está terminado. No está terminado. How about it's not lost? It's not lost. What would that be? No está perdido. No está perdido. It's not lost. If we want to say it's already something, it's already finished, the word for already is ya. Ya. Y-A. Ya. And we actually put it at the beginning of the phrase. So in English, we would say it's already broken. In Spanish, we say already it's broken or already whatever it is. So ya at the beginning. So how would you say it's already finished? Ya está terminado. Ya está terminado. It's already finished. And how about it's already lost? What would that be? It's already lost. Ya está perdido. Ya está perdido. And as a useful aside, ya está, by itself is very common. So said quickly together, it would sound like ya está. So already it's would be the literal translation. But in Spanish, ya está means that's it. Ya está. So often if you're buying several things, when you get to the end, either you might say, ya está, that's it, or the shop assistant might question you, ask, and say, ya está, is that it? Is that all? So, ya está, also to be used as that's it. Okay, anyway, back to where we were. How would you say it's already broken? Ya está roto. Ya está roto. It's already broken. The word for I have is spelt H-E. Now you might have heard that tengo is I have, and that's correct to mean that I have something. But if you want to say I have done something, then it's a different word. And for I have done, I have plus verb, it's H-E. So how would you say? I have finished. He terminado. He terminado. What do you think it would be for I've already finished? Ya he terminado. Ya he terminado. I've already finished. And how would you say I have lost? I have lost. So it could be a match. He perdido. He perdido. I have lost. Now let's just quickly look at terminado, finished, and perdido, lost. So we can see our endings there are ado and ido. Terminado and perdido. So ado and ido. And we're not too worried about grammatical terminology here, but for those of you who are interested, that ending is the past participle. It's called the past participle, that ado and ido. So when we're saying I have done something, we have the I have, e, and then our verb is either going to end in ado or ido. So if it's an AR verb, because let's look at terminar is to finish, then it will be terminado for finished. Jugar is to play, so jugado, ending in ado, will be played, as in I have played. So ado for the AR. And if it's not AR, so that means it's going to be an ER or an IR verb, then it ends in ido. So perder is to lose, so that's not AR, doesn't end in AR, ends in ER. So we're going to have our ido end in perdido. Comer is to eat. It's not AR, so it's going to be ido. So it's comido, eaten. Salir, to go out. It's not AR, so it's going to be ido. Gone out would be salido. Salido. Ido. Okay, so ado or ido. Well, let's put that to the test. We know that from our vocabulary at the bottom of the screen that hablar is to speak, hablar, and it ends in AR. So how would we say I have spoken? I have spoken. He hablado. He hablado. I have spoken. And in Spanish we say that we have spoken, but like in the US, they tend to say to speak with someone. In the UK, we say to speak to someone. In Spanish, it's to speak with someone, and with is con, C-O-N, con. So how would you say, I have spoken with Pablo? What would that be? I've spoken with Pablo, or I've talked with Pablo. He hablado con Pablo. He hablado con Pablo. So I've spoken to Pablo, is what we'd say in the UK. How about I haven't spoken to Maria? What would that be? I haven't spoken to Maria. No he hablado con María. No he hablado con María. What about I have already spoken to Carmen? I've already spoken to Carmen. Ya he hablado con Carmen. Ya he hablado con Carmen. Okay, let's take a different verb. Let's look at comprender. Comprender, to understand. Now that's not AR, so our ending's not going to be ado. How would we say? I have understood. I've understood. What would that be? He comprendido. He comprendido. What about I haven't understood? No he comprendido. No he comprendido. No he comprendido. I haven't understood. And we'll just take a brief pause there while I mention our very popular all-in-one special offer. None of these step-by-step courses are available on YouTube. We only publish supplementary lessons on this channel. And of course there are huge savings to be made as well. This is available exclusively from ProSpanish.co.uk. If we want to say you have or have you, it's the same in Spanish, the question and the affirmative. Have you is has, H-A-S, has. So how would you say you have finished? You have finished. What would that be? Has terminado. Has terminado. You have finished. And if it's a question, just change the tone. Has terminado? Have you finished? Has terminado? Have you finished? How would you ask the question? Have you broken something? Have you broken something? And something is just algo. A-L-G-O, algo. So what would that question be? ¿Has roto algo? ¿Has roto algo? Have you broken something? How would you ask? Have you lost something? Have you lost something? ¿Has perdido algo? ¿Has perdido algo? And what about the question, have you understood? Have you understood? What would that be? ¿Has comprendido? ¿Has comprendido? Have you understood? ¿Has comprendido? How would you say, have you already finished? Have you already finished? And remember that already goes at the beginning. ¿Ya has terminado? ¿Ya has terminado? Have you already finished? So we've seen hado and ido as our endings for what we call the past participle. But let's look at broken. So I have broken, he roto, but there's no hado or ido in roto. And that's because romper is to break, and the past participle of romper is irregular. So we have roto, broken. So it's just irregular. And I'm going to give you two more very common irregular ones. And it's hecho and dicho. Hecho, dicho. Put them together as a pair because they're easy to remember. So hecho is from hacer. So it's done. Hecho is done. Hecho. In fact, well done, for example, how you like your meat, well done is bien hecho. Bien hecho. And to say well done to somebody, you say bien hecho. Well done. Bien hecho. So hecho is done. And dicho, dicho is said, as in I have said. And that comes from decir, to say, and dicho, said. So two irregulars there, hecho and dicho. How would you say I have done something with Pablo? I've done something with Pablo. What would that be? He hecho algo con Pablo. He hecho algo con Pablo. How about the question? Have you done something with Maria? Have you done something with Maria? ¿Has hecho algo con María? ¿Has hecho algo con María? How about I have said something? I have said something. What would that be? He dicho algo. He dicho algo. And how about have you said something? Have you said something? What would that be? ¿Has dicho algo? ¿Has dicho algo? And just worth pointing something out here. In English, have you said something would refer to some ongoing situation. Have you said something to John about the situation, whatever? But if we were referring to something that's just happened right now, so you think somebody has said something and you say, did you say something? Did you say something? We wouldn't, when it's just happened, we wouldn't really say, have you said something? Have you said something? We would use the past simple. We wouldn't use this participle, the present perfect. We would say, did you say something? Or like, what did you say? But in Spanish, if it's just happened, it's in the very recent past, they would say, what have you said? Rather than, what did you say? Or, have you said something? rather than did you say something. This is a minor point, but if you spend much time in Spanish company, you'll hear this. By contrast, in Latin America, it's very much like in English. They would say, ¿dijiste algo? Did you say something? ¿Dijiste algo? And in Spanish, they would say, in Spain, they would say, ¿has dicho algo? ¿Has dicho algo? So it's just a minor point about the way in Spain Spanish they will use this tense, this present perfect, with the ado, the ido, the dicho, the hecho. They'll use it to refer to something that's just happened, where in English and in Latin America they're likely to use the past simple, the did you, or I did. Minor point, maybe for more advanced learners, and don't worry if you don't feel that you're quite at that level yet. Okay, so I have, has, you have, and to get to he or she, we just take off the s from as, and we have a. So a is he or she has a. H-A-A. So how would you say, he's already finished? Ya ha terminado. Ya ha terminado. What about, she's broken something? Ha roto algo. Ha roto algo. What about, she hasn't understood? She hasn't understood. What would that be? No ha comprendido. No ha comprendido. And how about, he's done something terrible. He's done something terrible. And terrible is just terrible. Terrible. Ha hecho algo terrible. Ha hecho algo terrible. He's done something terrible. Now the great thing about this participle, and it's fairly easy to learn, there's something quite intuitive about terminar, terminado, perder, perdido. Now the great thing about learning these participles, so terminado, perdido, hablado, aprendido, and some irregulars, roto, dicho, hecho. First of all, they're quite easy to learn. There's something intuitive about terminado, coming from terminar, terminado, finished, hablado, spoken. So they're quite easy to learn, but they're very versatile. So we already saw right at the beginning of the lesson that we can say está, it's. Está terminado, it's finished. Está roto, it's broken. And we've seen that we can say I have, you have, and all of that, but also we can have all the other types of have verb that goes with this. So we could say I had done something. I hadn't finished. We can refer further back in the past. And to say had, so I have is I had is había. Había. I had. Había. So how would you say I had finished? Había terminado. Había terminado. What about I had already spoken with Pablo? Ya había hablado con Pablo. Ya había hablado con Pablo. How about I had done something terrible? I had done something terrible. Había hecho algo terrible. Había hecho algo terrible. And I'll just mention as well that we could say would have done in exactly the same easy way. Would have is habría. Habría. Would have, habría. So how would you say I would have finished? Habría terminado. Habría terminado. And how about I would have done something. I would have done something. Habría hecho algo. Habría hecho algo. I would have done something. What about I wouldn't have said that? I wouldn't have said that. And the word for that here is eso. E-S-O. So how would you say, I wouldn't have said that? No habría dicho eso. No habría dicho eso. I wouldn't have said that. So we started out seeing how we could say it's finished. Está terminado. It's broken. Está roto. We saw that we could use ya for already. Ya está roto. It's already broken. And on the way, we learnt that ya está, is commonly used to say that's it. So, and it could also be if somebody's cross about something and they're saying that's enough, like that's it, that's it, that's it. Ya está. Okay, that's enough, that's it. Or ya está, I don't want anything else, that's it. And then we saw that to say I have, used with the verb here, we'd say he. So, he roto, I've broken. He terminado, I've finished. And we saw to make these, turn these verbs like terminar, finish, to finish, into finished, we either have ado or ido. And if our verb is an AR verb, it ends in AR, like terminar, or hablar, or jugar, then it ends in ado, hablado, jugado, spoken, played. If it doesn't end in AR, it's ido, as in perdido, or comido, eaten, or bebido, drunk, or salido, gone out. And we saw that this little ending is called the past participle. And we learnt that verbs like roto, they are irregular because the infinitive is romper, to break. So roto doesn't fit with the ado, ido scheme. So roto is irregular, and we learnt two others. Hecho for done, and dicho for said. We saw that has is you have or have you. Has hecho algo, have you done something? And we saw that if we take the S off has, we have a, and that's he or she has. So, María ha hecho algo terrible. Maria has done something terrible. We saw that once we have this grasp on the past participles, we've got real versatility, because instead of saying I have, we could say I had, we could say I would have, we can say I will have, and we covered two of those. We saw that había is I had. So I had done something. Había hecho, I had done something terrible. Había hecho algo terrible. And we saw that would have is habría. I would have spoken to Pablo. Habría hablado con Pablo. I would have already said something. Ya habría dicho algo. Ya habría dicho algo. And we'll just finish with a reminder about our most popular download from ProSpanish.co.uk. This is the all-in-one special offer. Once downloaded, it's yours to keep. There are no subscriptions. And of course, it includes the main levels 1 to 6 course, plus an accelerated vocabulary course, a verbs and tenses made easy course, 60 fluency boosters, and finally 50 of our best standalone videos, all of which can be completed without any prior knowledge of Spanish. And best of all, it can be shared on all the devices in your family. Okay, so that's prospanish.co.uk.